I want to welcome you all into this beautiful space, this online retreat, a journey into the heart, a retreat into the heart, a moment for you to settle, to land in your body, to honor where you are at, and to open to the possibility that you aren't alone. My name is Libby Weintraub. I am the author of the book She Was Born, Words on Loss and Liberation. It is a testament to the healing power of love and to the possibility that through great devastation can be born real beauty. I wrote this book. I wrote this book, and I'm sharing this book in hopes that we can break the silence and bring our light into the darkness, so that those of us who have experienced pregnancy and infant loss can know that we're not alone and that we don't have to suffer in silence. And that by speaking up and by sharing our stories, we become united in our grief. And I really feel there is a deep need on this planet right now for us to honor the feelings that we have that are being called forward to be witnessed and seen and allowed to move through during this time of great awakening. It's so easy to look around at our world and see so much devastation, and to forget that there can be beautiful things born out of that devastation. And this book is a testament to the fact that beautiful things can come from our challenges. So I would love to share some of my writing with you today. And the many practitioners who are joining us today, each of them carry such deep wisdom, and I've leaned into that wisdom on my own journey through my own healing. During the course of this day, of this online experience, you are going to connect with some deep medicine that I'm hoping will serve you on your journey. I'm just so honored to be a part of this experience that Bumpsuit has created. And I offer you the invitation to open your heart and to allow yourself to lean into the possibility that in your willingness to allow yourself to be vulnerable and to share what is present for you, that's deep in your heart, that there is a gift in that. There is a gift in the grief. There is a gift in you sharing your experience of your grief. And it is my hope that as an extension of this work, we each begin to give one another the permission to be more real and be more vulnerable and be more honest. And it is in that honesty that we create a deeper level of intimacy and truth. And I witnessed that yesterday in the retreat that we hosted here at the Nest in Hollywood. I am so deeply honored to have been a part of and to have bared witness to the healing that showed up in the physical retreat. And it is my deep hope and prayer that our offering here for you today also support a deeper level of healing. I would love to take an opportunity to share some of the writing from my book and introduce you to my daughter, Magnolia Grace Weintraub, and the beautiful gift that has come through journeying through my grief. So I'm just going to open to a page, and I'd like to share these poems to share my story in hopes that that it may help you feel less alone in your own journey. This poem is titled "The Beginning." I remember the dark room, the soft bed, me silently praying to you. I remember the shower, the water on my skin, the heat caressing me. I remember the large blue ball filled with air, holding our weight as I rocked back and forth, back and forth. I remember the cool linoleum floor beneath my feet, the worn-out cotton gown draped soft around my body. I remember swaying back and forth, focusing, breathing, listening. I remember smiling at your father's distressed face, hoping that my love could melt it. I remember lifetimes of heaviness falling away, lifetimes of fear, your love tearing me open. In one single moment, you took everything, shattering my perfect vision. Your father's lips pressed against mine, an ocean crashing between us. I felt his horror, everything taken. I felt it, but I was too far gone. This is titled Curriculum. There is nothing in this world that can prepare you for this. No class, no teacher, no book. It is the most brutal curriculum. This is not the invitation I was waiting for. This is not the delivery I was expecting. But I will say yes, because I am here to learn the most potent curriculum of the Spirit. Her ashes. The box was emerald green. Its smooth edges, these fingers will never forget. Inside a clear plastic bag filled with white and grey gravel. I placed the box on the ledge by the fireplace. I lit candles and surrounded it with an altar of flowers. I wanted the heavens to open up. I wanted to shout, "We don't fucking deserve this." But it wasn't about deserving. And I knew it. Even though I didn't fully understand, something had happened in the hospital. Something for which I haven't words. The love, the tears, the ecstasy of holding her. I wanted to open up that box and scatter her ashes all through the house. I wanted to open up, to tear open my skin and show the world the inside of my aching. I wanted to slide slowly out of this skin and join her. But he kept me there. His love, his heart, his ache, it kept me there, walking the periphery of this open wound. Thank you for your listening. It has been 9 years since Magnolia passed. She was born on November 26, 2014. She was 6 pounds, 2 ounces. She was 21 inches long. She was the most beautiful baby I have ever seen. And it was so hard to leave that hospital without her. And there's a part of me that will never, ever, ever, ever get over leaving that hospital without her, that will never, ever, ever, ever get over this loss. But there's also a part of me that understands that I don't have to like this in order to accept it. I don't have to agree with it in order to accept it. But some part of me knows that this was the way it was meant to be. And I say that with all sincerity, not from a place of wanting to spiritual bypass the intensity of what has happened to us, but that some greater part of me knows that she was the answer to my prayer. God, show me how to serve, show me my place in this world. Show me how to heal this deep pain that I carry. Show me how to set down my insecurities. Show me how to accept and love myself. And she came and she stayed for just such a brief moment, but I am so grateful for the experience of being her physical mother for the time that I had her. And I'm glad that I didn't wait to connect. I'm glad that I took the opportunity to sing to her, to chant to her, to touch her, to speak with her. That I didn't waste those moments while I was pregnant, and because I didn't know what was coming. And I think that's also such a beautiful lesson that she gave us, is that life is this physical life, this physical body. It doesn't last forever, and life comes with so many different surprises, and so to really be here now, to be here, be present to the life that is unfolding in every moment, that is the gift. That is the miracle that we are here at all, that we exist at all. I had a miscarriage before Magnolia, and then I had 3 more miscarriages after Magnolia. A year after our daughter passed away, my mom was diagnosed with a brain tumor. And 18 months later, after treatment, my mom passed away. A year and a half later, my husband lost his mom, and 6 weeks later, his father passed away. So in the space of 5 years, we lost our daughter, both our moms and his father. So death has become a really profound teacher for both of us. I want to mention that in this book, in my research for writing this book, I didn't come across a lot of stories about the father's perspective. And so one of the things that I feel really makes this book unique is that it includes the voice of the father. My husband wrote the foreword to the book, and in closing the book, there was a beautiful, beautiful piece of writing from him, which I hope that all the fathers out there will enjoy and find solace in his words. I certainly learned a lot about his experience through reading through reading his words. And I'm just so thankful to my husband, Steve, for his courage in allowing himself to be vulnerable enough to share his inner workings in this book. I'd like to read 2 more poems, and then I'd like to offer a writing prompt for you. So if you can find some paper to write on and a pen, we'll close out the session with a writing prompt. I would really love to encourage you to let go of any idea of what should come out or how it should come out, and just really let your heart speak. I have found writing has been such a huge part of my journey of healing, and it is just my hope that maybe we can start to just to give you a little tool, something to play with in the coming days and weeks and months. So let's see. Okay, so here we are, this holy labor. We give birth day and night, night and day, each thought and feeling our silent becoming. Are we even conscious of all the ways we nourish or diminish this holy labor? There is life. There is life inside of this dying. There is joy inside of this dying. There is beauty, mystery, and pain inside of this dying. There is freedom inside of this dying. There is perfection inside of this dying. There is loss and love and peace inside of this dying. All I've strived for, lived my life for, it falls away. It falls away inside of this dying. In my veins, the body that held her, not the solid ground beneath my feet, the silky golden sand running through my fingers, nothing real, not her, just an image, never to be touched again. But she is eternal. She is the life in my veins. He holds me. He holds me as I erupt, a piercing fit of grief, of rage. These tears I shed are for her, and all the years I've pissed away, trying to become someone. Her death gave me back my life, showed me where I was asleep, pointed to my busy life and the worthlessness hidden beneath. I've been treading water in this ocean of grief since I can remember, and I never imagined in the depths of such pain I could feel such relief. I want to thank you so much for giving me the space to share my story with you. It means so much to me personally to share these words with you, because I've kept them to myself for so many years. And it wasn't until I started sharing my writing, which was such a huge part of my journey with family and friends, that I realized that the impact that these words could have on other people. And it was at the invitation and request of many of family and friends to create this book. So I have one final poem that I'd like to read to you, and then I would like to offer you a writing prompt, and we'll have a few minutes of silence to allow you to pick up a pen and to write down a few of your own words to give you the opportunity and the experience to let your heart speak about where you are on your journey. So this poem is titled, "This Is Not a Tragedy." All day I peer through the windows watching you. All afternoon I am the wind by your side, these whispered words. Don't try to control your tears, let them come. Looking for answers only leads to more questions. Let the words come. What if you can hear me? Then what? Don't let your mind tell you otherwise. You know what you know. This is not a tragedy. A tragedy is letting this consume your life. A tragedy is getting to the end, never having recovered. A tragedy are all the days lost in your searching. Remember how the grief shattered you, uncovered the love you'd hidden from yourself. Remember how grateful you were. You kept saying it over and over and over and over again. You felt the significance of what was happening, even though you didn't like it. You found beauty in that dark place. You found a freedom you'd never known. You found love. You found love. You found love. This is not a tragedy. So I invite you to hit pause if you need to and find some paper, find a pen, or if you have a journal, you can write in your journal. And just take a few moments to settle, to relax, and to take a comfortable seat. And I invite you to take just a few breaths in and out. And allow everything to settle down. Maybe your heart is racing, and that's okay. Just taking a few more deep breaths in. And just allowing the words to come. Know that they don't have to make sense. They don't have to be beautiful. They don't have to be poetic. It can just be a lot of blah, 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 blah. Whatever is here, we're inviting whatever is present. And the writing prompt that I'm going to offer you is, this is. This is. So at the top of the page, I want you to write the words, this is, ... And just start where you're at. This is not fair. This is not what I wanted. This doesn't make sense. And just keep, this sucks. You just keep going. This is not fair. Whatever. Let it flow. We'll just take a few minutes here as you just continue to write, this is. This is the worst day of my life. This is such a disappointment. I don't know how I'm going to get through this moment. I feel so alone. Nobody understands. I don't understand. I feel so lost. Whatever's there. And just allow the words to come. And maybe you're done. Maybe just a few lines is enough for now. But we're working on just opening the channel so that these feelings inside, these thoughts, these words can flow out of you onto the page, and so you don't have to carry them inside of you anymore. So we'll just take a few more moments. Just keep breathing. Keep allowing. Keep surrendering to what wants to be said, what needs to be heard, what needs to be seen. Wonderful. Thank you so much for opening yourself to this experience. And thank you so much for your beautiful, deep listening. Wherever you are on your journey, I just send you so much love to you and to your partner and your extended family. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Kate Rose, and I am a Reiki master teacher and intuitive healer. I have been working in different aspects of my healing journey, both through my own and then as in service of others for just about 16 years. And I'm so grateful to be here, and I'm so grateful to be able to connect with you in this way. My journey getting me here intersects with Libby's when we met. It was a couple of years ago, and she had done a couple of sessions with me, and her honesty and her open heart, they just inspired me to be even more willing and ready to tell the truth about loss, about grief, about what I've experienced in my life. I lost the love of my life. It was just over 11 years ago. And the blessing is I get to know the face of one of my guardian angels, but it really, I mean, you really have no way through grief other than to walk through it. And as it was happening, as it was unfolding, I just kept feeling the difference between being plugged into something bigger than me, bigger than my grief, bigger than my anguish, than my loss. And that's what really saved my life and what propelled me to want to help others in any way that I can. So with that, I started to explore more and more in my intuitive gifts, and I discovered Reiki, which was a life-changing modality of healing for me. I work very closely with different angels, ascended masters. And I like to tell my clients that it's just my guides having coffee with your guides. And so I happen to just be able to translate a bit. So I'm going to start us in a bit of a meditative place. We'll move through some energy healing, just clearing. And then after that, another thing that I do is another facet is tapping, or EFT, which many people are now familiar with. And if you aren't, you'll get to get a taste of that as well. So I like to just ask everybody to start with a nice deep, deep breath in through the nose, and a nice exhale through the mouth. Draw your breath in and up through the nose, and a big release through the mouth. And on your next breath in, really imagine that you are drawing in your golden light, this beautiful, magnificent light that's surrounding you. And what would it feel like to bring it in and up through you, to just feel it literally radiate through the top of your crown? And you exhale. And as you continue to breathe, just keep imagining that each breath in is an acceptance of Source, and each exhale is a surrender. Source, surrender. Source, surrender. And it can be just as simple as that. I want you to just imagine yourself in the safest space that you can think of. And let yourself really be there in your mind's eye. Bring as much detail into that space as you can. See the colors, the vibrancy. Are you experiencing landscapes, or is it abstract? What are your feet planted in? Imagine that you can feel your toes moving in grass or sand, maybe on a cool marble floor. How does the air feel on your skin? Is there a sound or a smell in the air? Is there a taste on your tongue? And it is really important to let yourself engage all of your senses, your physical, your mental, your emotional, and your spiritual senses. Let them all come together. And when it comes to grief, which I do know is this great unifier, a little exercise that I like to practice is I find that when a trauma happens, we go into a space of where we immediately, whether it's conscious or unconscious, but we make a decision. We turn away from something, or we blame ourselves. We ask these questions: what could I have done differently? What didn't I do right? Where should I have been more present? Whatever it is. And so for this exercise, I just want you to, in this sacred space that you've imagined, allow yourself to see a container in front of you. Many people like to imagine a golden box, but it can be whatever you wish. And in this golden box, I want you to put into it whatever it is that you swore you wouldn't let go of. Maybe it's a secret shame. Maybe it's your guilt that you thought, I'm going to hold on to that forever. Whatever it is, allow yourself, even if it's just a layer of it, just a piece of it, allow yourself to place it into this box. Feel the weight of that thing, of that emotion, of that grief, of that trauma. Feel it as it comes off of you. And where were you holding it? Does your heart get lighter? Does your solar plexus get a little more air? Can you suddenly feel it in your throat? But place that thing into this box, into this container. And maybe suddenly you find this container to be much bigger than what you had originally started off with. But go with it, trust it. Trust that you don't need to hold it. That you will be safe in releasing it. And as you put it in, let yourself take a moment to just go through your whole body, through your whole field. And if there's anything else you want to put in, allow yourself to do so. Allow yourself this space, this grace, this generosity of your own love. And once you feel really, really ready to release it, imagine that you can seal it up however you want to. It can be tied up in ribbons and bows. It can be stapled shut. You can hammer it all the way. And then when you feel ready, I want you to ask whatever your source energy is. And it's actually interesting to go there in this moment, because I just realized that when we are in the depths of our grief, when we are in this despair, sometimes we turn away from that source. It's so easy to do. It's so easy to ask why and how and all those questions. So if you just have to imagine that they are unicorns, dinosaurs, whatever it is, it's something that is bigger than you, something that you know can protect you. I had a client once who saw pirates. It can literally be whatever. As long as it is something outside of you that can take this away, that can relieve you of it. And the further you see this box go, the lighter you will begin to feel. And this box is really a wonderful tool for anything in your life to be able to use to release. Because, I like to say, if you went to a mailbox and there was a whole stack of mail and none of it was addressed to you, you wouldn't keep it. And you certainly wouldn't go through it and try to get it everywhere all over town to the right people. You would just say, that's not mine. I don't even have to take this into the house. I can just return to sender. And so any piece, anything in life throughout your day-to-day, I do it all the time. If it doesn't need to be on your heart, if it doesn't need to be weighing on your gut, if it doesn't have to be just pressing down on your mind, then you have permission to release it. So with that piece, I think that I will move into the tapping, and I'm going to do it in a very general way. The way that tapping works, and it is EFT, it's literally, you can find it on YouTube. You can find so many tools that are for tapping nowadays, because it's amazing. And once I really got into it and discovered it, the release that comes out of your physical body is so important. It's so huge. We do have our, we have our physical body, and then we have all these parts of our field that just go out and out and out. And so there can be so much that sticks to us, so much that can get in there. And sometimes we forget how deeply it can get into our physical presence. So I will begin tapping on myself, and it would be lovely if you can join along. It is best, it's helpful to repeat out loud what you are saying. And this is whether you're doing it all by yourself or not. It is really helpful to have those words out so that they're not, you're not holding on to them. And then always keep in mind with any healer, with any practitioner, with any kind of work, you do have to take what resonates for you and you leave the rest. So if my verbiage doesn't resonate, if some phrase needs to be changed, please give yourself permission to do that so that it suits you, so that it suits your personal needs and your personal alignment, because you are your sovereign being. So before I tap, I do just like to move into my body, again with just a few breaths to really center and focus. And whenever we begin tapping, we start on this, it's called the karate chop point. It's this little fleshy piece of your hand between the pinky bone and the wrist. And you're using your middle 2 or 3 fingers, and the tapping should just be a nice steady beat. It shouldn't hurt. It shouldn't be. It's just a gentle tap at a steady pace. And so you're just tapping, even though I feel myself turning away from those I love, even though I feel myself resisting source, God, love, truth, whatever it is, even though there is no explanation for what has happened. And even though I desperately hate that, I am willing to honor that that's how I feel. And I love and accept myself anyway. It's so awful what's happening. I hate every part of it. There's no explanation. I feel it all in my body, this rage, this anger, this loss, this trauma. It's overwhelming. I'm overwhelmed. And this is this little part, the fleshy part of your back, just right there in the middle. This is really hard. No one can help me. No one knows what to say. I don't trust anybody. I don't trust anything. This is a big one. God has abandoned me. God forgot me. God forgot my child. This isn't fair. And as you move through these points on your body, as you allow yourself to feel these emotions coming up, to feel the weight of them, the heaviness, the fire, but behind them, that rage, that's real, that devastation. Let it all come up, and you just keep moving through these points on your body. And the point of tapping is so that you can start off in the negative and begin to work your way through it to the light. Just like any healing process, we move through it, as gnarly as it might be. So back to those feelings. I can't do this. I won't do this. It's too much. I hate that this is happening. I want it to be different. It should be different. This shouldn't have happened. That's true. This shouldn't have happened. I haven't done anything wrong. This shouldn't have happened. So maybe it's bigger than that. Maybe it's not simple. Maybe it's not black and white. Maybe both things are true. Maybe I don't have to understand this. Maybe that I'm showing up in my feeling is enough. It has to be enough because it's all I've got. My feelings have to be enough. They're all I have. So I'm going to honor my feelings. The best way I know to do that is to breathe. I've been forgetting how to breathe lately. This grief has made me hold my breath. But I can remember that it's as easy as pulling in and releasing. I think I can do that. I'm worthy of that few moments. I'm worthy of that breath. I'm worthy of whatever it brings up. Because it's all here. It's all in me. So it has to be okay. It has to go somewhere. I know that I'm not meant for suffering. I go back to my fundamental belief that somehow everything is conspiring in my highest and best good. That doesn't have to make sense to me today. I don't have to like that today. But if I can remember that it's there, I think I can make it through this moment. I think I can breathe through this moment. That's all I have to do today is breathe. The breath will keep me alive. And whatever comes through the breath, I'm safe. I'm safe. I'm safe to have that feeling. Because I am safe. I'm safe. I'm a lot of other things, but I'm safe. In this room, in this space, in this feeling, in this moment, I am safe. Sometimes it helps to just kind of even go through your whole body. I am safe. Remember that you're in there. Feel yourself in there. Feel that breath. I am safe. Oh, let it move out of you. I am safe. I'm really safe. Whatever has happened, I am safe. And take a deep breath in and release it. And then really let that energy come off of you. Feel it. Don't let it get stuck anywhere. Move it off. If you can, move it out a window, out a door. Imagine it being swept up and away. Come back to your breath. Come back to yourself. When I first had my trauma happen, a dear friend said to me, it doesn't actually get any easier. You just get more used to that it happened. And so, with everything in me, I bless you and I honor you and I see you, I witness you. It may not feel like it, but you will be okay. And that'll take a long time sometimes. And it takes as long as it takes. So you are right on time in whatever your process is. You are doing your very best just by showing up, just by breathing, just by existing. And eventually, I hope that you find your way to your fullest light again. Again, I'm Kate Rose, and it has been such an honor, such a privilege and a gift to spend this time with you today. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being here. And most importantly, thank you to you. You did it just by coming, just by being here.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Garcia. I'm a folk herbalist, plant alchemist, and goddess of the trees from Los Angeles, California. And I'm really honored to be here today to share my story. My path to motherhood has been long. Throughout the last 5 years, I've experienced four losses, with my last loss being in February, where I lost my baby girl at 23 weeks. And it was a really beautiful moment filled with a lot of heartache and a lot of lessons and a lot of presence. And I'm on the other side here to share my medicine with you all. My journey has been a difficult one, like I said, and I know I truly feel the pain for everyone that's really experienced this. I remember being at the hospital and just looking out the window, and it was raining, and just really truly feeling like one drop of water in this like collective ocean of grief that we all experience as mothers that are silently going through the pain of loss. And so I was really inspired to find a way to help us come back to ourselves. And so I made an herbal spiritual support kit. It's called the Transmute Pregnancy and Infant Loss Kit. I've called on some of my very sweet and dear plant allies, Rose and Chisandra, butterfly blue pea, and blue lotus, to just infuse their wisdom into these medicines. And so today I'll be guiding you on a plant spirit meditation with Rose. A plant spirit meditation is another way for us to connect with this very old, ancient energy that exists here on Earth. And it's a way that you're going to be able to tap into any messages that Rose may have, or any moments of clarity that Rose may have to offer you. So once your cup of tea is ready to go, find yourself a nice, cozy, and warm spot, and we'll get nice and comfortable. Okay, so before we start, I'm going to invite you to burn any blessing smokes that you may have in your house, whether it be sage, maybe you have some rosemary that you can burn, a little sprig of it, but I invite you to just light something that's going to help ground you, just give you that aroma, that sweetness. So I'm going to be lighting some sage. And in my practice, I've been taught to just light just one little leaf of sage to just help cleanse the air and bring us just back. And so as you're nice and cozy in your spot, if you have some blessing smokes, if you don't, that's okay. We're just going to take some nice deep breaths together. And it's okay to close your eyes. I'm going to have my eyes closed for most of the time here. So we could just take a deep, deep breath in and out. Take another deep breath in and just take it all the way in, as if your breath was going all the way down, down, down your lungs and into your belly. And then bring it back up and exhale. And then our last deep breath in. And with this last out breath, you can really just make sound and open your jaw and just release and get really, really comfortable. So you're here in this space, you're safe, you're warm, you have your beautiful cup of rose tea. I'm going to pick mine up now. And as you hold your tea, just ground in what you're about to take on, which is just a gentle meditation with the spirit of Rose. So you can just bring the cup of Rose up to your nose and just have a nice deep breath in, as if you're breathing in the out breath of Rose. What does she smell like? Allow her to just travel into your body. And if you feel comfortable, you can anoint yourself with some of the rose tea. You could just dip your fingers right into the tea and then just put it on your neck. You could just put it there on rub some on your third eye. Splash it around you. Just anoint the area and yourself with the rose tea. Allow her to just fall on your body gently and delicately. Continue to smell your rose tea and just allow the scent to just bring you back. We're dropping all of our titles that we had from the busy day, whether it be mother, whether it be sister, whether it be manager. We're just going to drop all of those titles and be really present in this moment. And allow the smell of rose to really be what brings you back. When you're ready, you can bring the rose up to your mouth and just take a nice sip. What does it feel like as she travels down your body? The warmth. Allow her to just travel down. Follow the tea as it goes down into your body. Where is it going? Where do you feel it most? For some, as you start to drink the tea, you will feel different aspects and different feelings on your body. Some of us may see different images. Some of us may even smell different senses that come in. Everyone is different. What are you feeling? Continue to just drink out of your cup or your mug and however feels right to you and your body. Whether it feels you want to take big gulps or just little sips, just give your body the ability to make that decision. Feel free to just allow the veins in the roof of your mouth and your cheeks to just open up to receive the rose. Really swish it around. Really feel it. Feel the body of the rose in your mouth before you swallow. As you continue to drink, what do you see? How is Rose coming to you? Does it look like someone? Is it a person? Is it feminine or masculine? Is it an animal? Do you see colors or words? Allow yourself to truly feel that nothing is coincidence, that what you feel and what you're experiencing is Rose. As Rose continues to travel through your body, you feel her soft, delicate petals. What else are you experiencing? Introduce yourself to Rose. Hello, my name is. Don't forget that you can bring your mug back up to your nose and just continue to smell her, to continue to allow her to bring you back to this present moment, to this grounded connection with this beautiful plant. As you feel her, you can ask her for a hands-on healing. You can ask her, Rose, will you place your hands where my body needs it most? Will you show me where my body needs it most? If you squint just a little harder with your eyes closed, can you see anything else? Is there anything else that's outlining or aligning within your field? What is Rose showing you? As you continue to commune with her or him, however Rose is showing up to you today. Continue the conversation. Say thank you. Is there anything else that you need me to see or hear or feel? Do you have any messages for me? This is about your connection to Rose and your heart, and to self-love. take as much time as you need exploring what Rose may be showing you. Or what you may be feeling. Just breathe. Just being with what is. As you finish your tea, or maybe you might have already finished your tea, and continue to anoint yourself with a little bit more of the tea and just bless yourself. Other ways to just connect with the spirit of this plant. And thank her. Thank Rose for showing up for us today in this special way, for delivering messages and feelings of just whatever she may have had to share with us. You can ask again, Rose, are there any other messages or any other healing that you have for me that I can carry on into the rest of this day? Give her the time and that space to show up. Thank you, Rose. As we come to a close to our plant spirit meditation, say thank you, Rose. Thank you. Thank you for your healing. Thank you for your power. Thank you for your words, your visions, your feelings, for traveling to the places that you needed to. We express our gratitude. We appreciate it. And when you're ready, take a deep breath. And just maybe move your body around a little bit. You can place your cup of tea down. Start coming back to your body. Rub your hands together, stretch your toes, just come back. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And this is going to be a beautiful opportunity for you to journal. So just get that notebook and journal about what you saw, what you felt, any words that came up. This is going to be your time to connect with yourself, to truly ground in the messages from Rose, to truly feel what Rose had to offer you today. And maybe if you didn't see anything, that's okay too. If you didn't feel anything, that's okay too. Allow this to be an opportunity for you to free write. Maybe just write whatever comes out. Let's see what Rose is working through you. Just give yourself the time and that opportunity to just take that time to connect with a pen and paper and your feelings and your heart, and just write down whatever it is that you saw. Draw it, scribbles, whatever you may have seen. Thank you so much for doing this plant spirit meditation with me and for trusting and allowing yourself this time with Rose. Please reach out and tell me how it went for you, what you saw, what any questions you may have. Please reach out to me via Instagram. I'd love to connect and hear how this meditation went for you. And if you'd like some more meditations, please reach out as well. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Jacqueline Michelle, and I'm a singer-songwriter originally from Australia, living in Los Angeles. And music is medicine. Music has the power to heal. And for myself and my own journey, it continues to be that medicine in my life. And when I close my eyes and sing, I feel connected to myself and to my heart. And it is my greatest intention that with the music that I write and the words that I write, that there be an uplifting message, that there be an affirmation in there that we can sing to ourselves and remind ourselves of throughout our day. When we're looking in the mirror, when we notice our reflection, we can say that we love ourselves and that we are beautiful and that we accept ourselves the way that we are. And I hope that this music will be an inspiration for you in your life as it has been for myself. My dear friend Libby, whose book, She Was Born, is about to be released, shared with me that when she lost her beautiful daughter Magnolia, these 3 words, be here now, really helped her to be present during this very challenging time that she experienced. She realized that through this heartache, through this challenge, she was forced to just really be present and really connect with her heart so that she could accept and love and move forward. This first song is called Be Here Now.
Barefoot in the water, spread my toes, feel the earth beneath my feet. I let go of holding on, surrender my knowing, and sing to the wind. I must trust in the wisdom above and underneath my feet. Whenever I forget, you bring me back to myself. Be here now. Be here now. I dive deep in the ocean, cleanse my soul, let the water wash me clean. I float onto my back, look up the blue sky, see the birds flying by. I must trust in the wind wisdom above and underneath my feet. Whenever I forget, you bring me back to myself. Be here now. Be here now. Be here now. Sometimes I forget the peace that lives within my heart. So I walk to the water's edge and remember my life. I must trust in the wisdom above and underneath my feet. Whenever I forget, you bring me back to myself. Be here now. 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 Be here now.
I'd like to share a song with you that was inspired many years ago when I was looking at myself in the mirror and I was judging myself, was criticizing myself. And these words came to me, and I decided to write a song about it. May the next time you look at yourself in the mirror, may you replace those judgmental thoughts with, I am beautiful, I am love. Because we know that if we don't truly try to just love and accept ourselves, then how are we possibly going to love and accept anyone else in our life? The love has to start within. It's not easy. We just got to try.
Find a place in your heart. Fill it up and light that spark. We are all we need. Feel the moment, seize the day, living into the words you say. Let love in and breathe and say, I am beautiful, I am love, I am beautiful, I am love, love, love. I am love. You've got the answers inside yourself. Feel the rhythm of life itself. Surrender to the moon. Freedom heart from your soul. Who you are, letting go on. We are all we need. And say, I am beautiful, I am love, I am beautiful, I am love, 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 love.
Thank you so much. I pray that we can remember these words. May we learn to love ourselves. May we remember that we are miracles and we are beautiful. Thank you so much. My name is Jacqueline Michelle, and it is an honor.
Hello, everyone. My name is Hoda Mahajirani, and it is my absolute privilege to have this moment in this space together with you, to share my story as a human being, as a woman who is a mother despite having lost my son. I would love to have your ear, lend me your ear for a moment so I can tell you a little bit about where I started, because our stories matter, and who tells the story matters, and who's listening matters. I am of Persian origin. I come from a culture deeply rooted in family and community, especially in the female community, and women supporting one another through the different rites of passage. And I dedicated most of my life to women's studies and feminism and women's rights. I was studying and working as a human rights activist in England at the time. So the feminine identity and the female identity has been a lifelong passion, quest, and sense of existential duty for me. And I identified very much with the struggle of women in all parts of the world to attain our equal rights, to reclaim our voices. I formed a lot of my identity around that, and a lot of it took shape in my political activism. In a sense, using spiritual language, I was very much in my yang, in the masculine, in the world. And suddenly, I became pregnant. I became pregnant in 2016, in my 40s. And it was interesting because what happened to me biologically and chemically, and also energetically, really took me by surprise. After all of my years of advocating for women's embodiments, our return to the self, I actually experienced it. I really, truly returned into my body and connected with life growing within me. And for me, it was the most lived experience. I was ecstatic. And like so many of us, I at the time, actually, I was living in Lanzarote in the Canary Islands. I started looking at names, and I thought, oh, if it's a boy, I want to call him Arta. Arta is Avestan Persian, it means truth. And I was later to discover that in Sanskrit, it means abundance. And I'll share with you in a minute why that's important. So moving into the pregnancy, I had a feeling that I need to go back home, which used to be Vienna, Austria, in order to prepare myself for the birth. And so I moved. I moved in around the 5th month of my pregnancy, and one day I was out having lunch at a Thai restaurant in Vienna, and as I crossed the street back to my car, I felt something warm, and I realized my water is broken. And I immediately called my gynecologist and said, what do I do? What do I do? And he said, you've got to drive yourself to hospital and we've got to check you out. And I drove myself to hospital, and they said that after the test that there are complications, and if I want to see my son live, that they have to do a C-section. And it was all, you know, I'm trained academically in critical thinking, in rational thinking, in being able to make decisions very quickly. And it was just unbelievable, the magnitude of the decisions that I was being faced with. And I obviously said, yes, okay, I want to give my son every living chance. And so around midnight on January 10th, he was born January 10th, just after midnight, I had the C-section, and they informed me that my son has Edwards syndrome and that he's not going to survive. And I screamed and I wailed, and as soon as they took me out of the operating theater, I demanded that I would be taken into the ICU. And I had the grace of being able to hold my son and love my son for 4 days. For those 4 days, I lived in the ICU unit. They brought me a bed, and I held him skin on skin. And I said to a very, very dear friend of mine, I said, you know, all of my studies, everything that I've explored, I've had a deep love and curiosity for spirituality and mysticism, and studied comparative religions and practiced for 3 decades. And I said, you know, for every decade of my life where I was trying to understand what is love, what is mysticism, what is truth, what is God, what is the force, what is existence, who are we, what is this experience that we're having? For every decade, he spent 1 day here. And in 4 days, he taught me everything. Everything I had tried to uncover through practice, through fasting, through pilgrimage, through prayer, through books, through debates. Nothing can ever parallel the lived, embodied experience of love. And that's truth. So I consider Arta, my son, as my greatest mystical teacher. And so his name is Arta Mystic Mohajarani. And the letting go, you see, we mistake letting go for abandonment, and the two are not the same. Abandonment is a turning away from. Letting go is an open-hearted surrender and leaning into and courageously face the unimaginable, the unfeasible, the unbearable, because that is what is required of us to be able to liberate this being from his or her suffering. Surrender. It's the antithetical, paradoxical pull, because every cell in our female being is created to protect, to hold on to love, to shield this being. And at one and the same time, we're being asked to release. And in that struggle, the internal energetics and dynamics of that struggle, there is a renting asunder of identity. There's a tear in the veil that we have, that we operate through and from as individuals here. And it feels like a psychotic breakdown. It feels like a departure from whatever we knew hitherto to be reality. And if we are capable, and if we're not, it's also okay. It really is. But if we're capable of leaning into that space that has been scorched by the fire of this letting go, something is born anew, a new magnitude within us, a new depth within us, a new transcendence within us that allowed me the connection with universal motherhood, with motherhood and being a mother, with the micro and the macro. Needless to say, that year between 2017 and 2018, by metaphor, was basically me sitting in the middle of a burnt wilderness. There was nothing. I had everything tasted like ash. I realized about a year and a half later, one day when I was driving through the Austrian countryside, that suddenly I noticed colors. And that's when I realized that for the past year and a half, everything had almost like a gray veil of chiffon, a veil on it somehow. So colors were muted. I didn't hear sounds as clearly, nothing. But that year I just sat, and I sat in that emptiness, in that vacuum. And if I tell you please believe me when I tell you that one night in my living room, I sat and I looked over and I saw grief, an old, haggard woman, cloaked in black, and she was my guest. And there was so much weight from her presence in my space, in my home, in my life, in my heart. But how could I throw this old woman out? So as unbearable as this guest was, I hosted her. And I also let go of any attempts of trying to find some piece of something that I could hold on to, like apply for a job or pick up a hobby or do something to take my mind off it. I know a lot of us need to do that. And if that is what will support you, please do that. If it will support you, not if it will block you. And so I just sat for a year, not knowing who am I, what am I supposed to do in life, why am I still here? And until I was basically okay with that. You know, I've always had a meditation and a prayer practice. And around his birthday on January 2018, I was very deep in meditation. And I found myself in a space that I had never encountered before. And it was very bright, very luminous and fine. And in that space, I suddenly saw and felt my son's presence. And here's where sound really plays an incredible role. You know, in Hinduism, they say that the origin of existence of the universe came from sound. And I heard his voice, and he said 2 words, chakra chai. I thought, first of all, I was overjoyed. I was overjoyed because it was a reunion. It wasn't a physical reunion, but it was an existential, spiritual reunion. And I knew the signature of my son's essence, and I knew his frequency. I knew this is my son. And so an internal dialogue took place. And I said, what is this? What is chakra chai? And what would you like me to do with it? And word for word, he said to me, if you wish, you're permitted to move on this, but you don't have to, because I know you're exhausted. So the dialogue continued, and the question and answer. And he gently showed me what this offering was, what this invitation was. And the invitation was to create a healing, intentional, high vibrational food, because these are our bodies. Our bodies experience such an onslaught through our experiences as human beings, and especially as women. And yet the foods that we take in are not nourishing that intersection between our bodies and our emotions and our spirits. And Arta gave me the roadmap to create a food that will nourish our bodies and our emotions. Part of the directive was that all of our products would have to be activated with sound. I couldn't believe it because a year after losing my son, I was in no fit state to be able to commence a business, an enterprise. And somehow, by the grace of Creator, every person that I needed was brought in as if by divine architecture. We created, together with an Ayurvedic specialist, the very first formulation. And it's called Love. And it's for the heart, because our hearts break and they break again. And they need to be held. And another part of the directive was that we had to give to charity. And so which better charity to give to than Every Mother Counts? And that's what we did. We created products that will support each and every one of us in some small way, give back to charities. So as we heal ourselves, our choices will ripple out into the world to heal others. The micro and the macro come together again. I can't believe that I have been held and supported by all the people who have been on this journey with me, as I hope that you have people, as I hope that you allow us to be your people, to support you in your journey through grief, with grief, towards a transmutation, a transformation. I say that Chakra Chai is a triumph born out of tragedy. And I simply ask you, with our support and with the support of your community and family, please know that you are held. Know that you will not only make it through this, because it actually feels like something is tearing and making its way through us, and it hurts, but it will forge a road towards your own triumph, towards your own strength that maybe we didn't know we had before. If there is any way that I can be of personal service to any of you, please, please reach out to me. I will respond personally to you. Thank you for listening. I hope that this is some small token from one mother to another. You are loved. I love you.
Hi, my name's Caitlin Rose, and I teach movement. I've been teaching for about 8 years, and I started out on my own movement journey because I had experienced a few significant traumas in my life, including a significant loss. I felt incredibly disconnected from my body. I was going through a divorce. And I found a particular type of movement that cracked me wide open and allowed me to feel the emotions that were present in my body. I couldn't quite explain what was happening, and sometimes it felt overwhelming to return back to my body after having been kind of checked out of it for a very long time. And I decided to devote my life and my practice and my study to understanding what this mind-body relationship is and how emotion can dwell in the body, can get trapped in the body, can get compressed in the body, and can result into and kind of morph into different types of dis-ease and discomfort and sleeplessness and all kinds of things that happen when we're suppressing our emotions and our body's holding a lot of emotions. So I'm deeply body oriented. I'm very into the actual physical and the emotional. Movement helps give your body a voice, even if it's a heartbreaking voice, even if it's a tragic story, even if it's an enraging experience. The body holds all that. So finding this type of movement that I offer allows the body to tell its story, allows the body to grieve along with the mind, um, and allows the body to reconnect with itself and eventually to find freedom. So the movement practice that I teach brings you through a series of movements that will help you kind of reconnect to certain circuits in the body. I like to think of them as channels. And, we've got our lower channel in our hips and in our womb. Um, and below that can get quite locked up, especially you'll see that happen in the hips and the lower back. So we'll do a significant amount of work with opening the hips, activating the hips, connecting with the hips, with the belly, with the womb, with the ovaries, allowing that space to be a part of our body, and essentially being able to connect to our own personal, individual pleasure, not having to do with anyone else, just ourselves and our own bodies. And I like those activations to be able to kind of travel up, or we can start with the head and travel down, but so that every specific channel in the body can be opened, so that it can be free, so that energy is free to move from head to toes. So the movement kind of takes you through all the different areas of the body that are almost like doors that can get shut. And with that, I started a dance studio and a business called The Lighthouse. And the intention of the space was to, like, if you think about the body as your home, and when unfortunate things happen, tragic things happen, there's lights in the body that feel like they can get turned off, or there's a shrinking that can happen. There's a wilting that you'll see because the body's dealing with pain. So this particular studio, the Lighthouse, is meant to help as the container facilitate people turning the lights back on in their house, all the lights back on. And I don't think that can happen just through talking your way through it. I absolutely think it's essential to incorporate movement and breath work and being able to feel what's happening. And it's very helpful to have a guide or a facilitator of some kind, especially when you're processing such emotions with such magnitude, such as grief, such as rage, and deep fear from the unfortunate things that can happen to our bodies. So just to show you a little bit of this movement, how I would bring someone that has absolutely no experience with dance, that feels like movement is very out of reach. I like to start very gently, very slowly, very softly, even just with breath as a movement, and inhale as a movement, and exhale as a movement, and the heartbeat as a movement. So usually we begin just by allowing some few deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And if you feel comfortable, to close your eyes and kind of introvert your energy. So sometimes our energy is kind of facing outwards and is open and connecting and taking in information. And for the beginning of this movement, I invite you to introvert your energy in and kind of collect it in at your heart center. I'm going to invite you to drop your head down to your chin and feel the back of your neck stretch. And inhale in through the back of your neck. And when you exhale, I want your shoulders to soften. I want you to feel the relaxation, the release of your shoulders. And we're just going to continue to do that. Inhale into the back of your neck. And then exhale, feel your shoulders soften and melt and release. Good. And then the next inhale, you're just going to slowly pick your head up, come through center, and then let your head fall back. And you're going to relax your jaw. And you're just going to feel how your head falling back naturally opens your chest. And you're going to hang out there for a moment and just inhale. And then exhale, feel this opening here in front of your chest soften. Good. And then pick your head up and bring it down to your chest one more time. Take a big breath in through the back of your neck. Exhale, feel your shoulders soften. Beautiful. Good. And then we'll just find a few circles in either direction, starting with the right. And we go so slow for this movement because I want you to feel every inch of the circle that your neck can make at all directions, north, south, east, and west. And I want you to slowly allow your body to connect and respond. So it's not just your head moving. There's something happening here in your shoulders. There's something happening in your rib cage. And you're starting to feel your body respond and you're allowing it. Good. And then take it around the other way. Inhale, and you'll feel your chest open as your head falls back. And there's a response here. There's an opening. And then you exhale to let your head come down, and there's this closing here. And it's okay if your hair gets in your face. That's actually my favorite part of this. But just allowing your head to circle, beautiful. And then we'll come center and we'll do a few more things because I want us to get in touch. So we just worked with our head and our neck and a little bit of our shoulders, but now we're going to explore rolling the shoulders back and bringing your awareness. You can close your eyes or you can have your eyes open, but I just want you to feel how big your shoulder movement can actually be and how much tension we hold here in our shoulders. So you're exhaling. Your exhale is releasing the tension. Your inhale is kind of grabbing it all up. And your exhale as you're letting it out. And then we'll roll them forward. And I want you to feel the difference between the forward roll and the backward roll and how the rest of your spine can respond to this too. Good. And then I want you to try rolling one shoulder and then the other. So they're rolling in opposite. And then I want you to pay attention how your spine can actually respond to the movement, and you can allow your body to kind of rock from side to side. And that's just our top half. And then you can play with rolling your shoulder forward and forward and forward, kind of giving these shoulder blades of ours a voice. And then lastly, we'll bring it a little bit, we did head and shoulders, we'll bring it into our rib cage. So place your hands on your knees gently and like actually feel your palms on your knees. So you're connecting to your body, you're aware, you're connected, it's a sensual experience, you're feeling it. And I want you to inhale, open your chest and send your rib cage forward. And then exhale, close your chest, contract and feel it come back. Good. Inhale, open, push forward. Good. And exhale, curve it back. Okay. And then from here, we're going to connect the forward and the back and take it around so that you're feeling this circle now in your rib cage and feeling what a circle you can actually make. And this is kind of connecting you to taking you out of non-linear movement, taking you into the circles that our bodies can make. And you're slowing it down and you're feeling every inch. Good. And then take it around the other way and see if you can allow your head to move in tandem with your rib cage. So there's head, shoulders, rib cage happening. Good. And you're kind of letting it be messy. You're not really caring about what it looks like. You're just allowing your body to undulate, to cycle, to move. Beautiful. And then we'll just come back to center. I'm going to have you place your hands on your heart just for a little closure. Beautiful. And just feel your heartbeat and your breath the way we started. Take a big inhale in. And then exhale, release it all out. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, take a breath in. This time, hold the breath and feel the heartbeat. Exhale, release it out. Beautiful. And if your eyes are closed, you can gently open them. And if your eyes were opened, hello. And thank you for joining me through a little bit of movement. So I want to tell you a little bit about my grief story and my movement practice and how it came to be. I remember when I started dancing about 10 years ago, I was pretty numb and disconnected and having a really hard time feeling anything in my body. And when I realized what was there to feel, it was actually a whole lifetime of unfelt grief. So when I started to do my movement journey and get in touch with my grief, it brought me all the way back to the beginning of my grief story, which starts in utero. When I was 7 months inside of my mom's tummy, she was 7 months pregnant with me. My father was diagnosed with stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma. So she was simultaneously going to get checkups for her pregnancy while also taking him to get chemotherapy treatment in tandem in the same day. So some of the grief work is around what she was experiencing while she was pregnant with me, and then a lot of it is around the loss when he passed away when I was 3 years old. There's a father wound, an abandonment wound, and a loss there of grief, but also the loss of their love, my mother and father's love, and the deep attunement I developed to my mother's grief as I would lay on her chest as a young baby. And while she would grieve, while she would cry, because there was no one else to watch me and she had no other place to grieve. So she's even shared with me that she wouldn't really hide it from me. And it always kind of worried her if that would be too much for me. But lo and behold, I've grown up quite comfortable and accustomed and familiar to be around a grieving woman, particularly grief in general, and that's where I've decided to focus my therapy practice. But movement and my own movement practice, being able to work with the grief that was in my own body and move it through, allowing myself to wail, allowing myself to feel angry, allowing myself to push into things, and finding a sense of connection back to my hips and my spine and my curves and my sensuality again was a whole long journey. But yeah, it allowed me to not only emotionally and spiritually move my way through it, but physically move my way through it so I can feel like this body is mine again. So I just appreciate you having the courage to join me in movement, because I know it is not easy. And I can't wait to do more work with you. Thank you for joining me.
Hi there, my name is Casey Flynn, and I had the absolute honor and pleasure to participate in the beautiful retreat that was held by Libby and Nicole. And it was extremely profound and touched me and healed me and tapped into a place that I haven't been able to access in quite some time. And I really feel that I purged an energy that was still present within me that I was not aware of. So I just really invite everybody to let themselves experience it personally or through this beautiful container that they're so generously creating online, to really allow yourself to go to these beautiful facilitators and experience the depths of what they can offer and what they're offering through their service, and from healing in their own tragic experiences. So I really wanted to offer that here, as I'm also sharing a beautiful product that I birthed through my journey with ectopic pregnancies. I had one when I was 23 years old, and it was the most painful, traumatizing experience that I could have ever possibly imagined. I thought I was going to die. It was so scary. And I went to the hospital. First, I went to the doctor, and then they took me to another ultrasound facility, and they didn't know what was happening. And then I was rushed to the emergency room, and next thing you know, I'm rushed into the emergency surgery. And during that time, I was just completely out of my idea that it could possibly ever be that. I've never even heard of an ectopic pregnancy. So the fear afterwards was so extreme, the sadness, the pain, the actual physical pain of losing this potential child that was supposed to be coming onto this planet, let alone, the invasive trauma that was imposed on my body, was incredibly just heartbreaking. And I actually chose to avoid the pain for a very long time. And I ran away from it, did everything to not address the actual deep sadness that was inside of me, until I was 32 years old and experienced another ectopic pregnancy on the other side, on my right side. Again, this came to my surprise. I knew that I had had some implications in the past, so there was a possibility that it could happen. But still, when I got pregnant, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm pregnant. I thought I was pregnant for 3 weeks. I kept, with that. And when it came time to go for an ultrasound, they did not see anything in there. And again, I had that same feeling of shock and terror and was rushed to the emergency room again. And, the doctors were telling me that my fallopian tube was about to burst and I needed to go in right away. And I was screaming at the top of my lungs, I'm going to lose my other fallopian tube and I won't be able to get pregnant ever again. And I won't be able to do this naturally. And this is horrible. And I was screaming and crying and it was just that to me was so painful that I wasn't ever going to be able to conceive naturally. And I had to go through the grief of that in that moment while I was about to go into the surgery. And so again, my fallopian tube was removed and it was a very traumatic experience. This time I was a little bit older, so I was much more in touch with myself and much more, present to my emotions. And I had done a lot of work on my own, physical, emotional, spiritual, and mental well-being. So I was much more attuned to my process and was able to navigate it in a more empowering way that gave me the ability to tap into the tools that were available for me to, purify and cleanse and reconnect with my sexuality, with my pain, with my femininity, with and excuse me for saying this word, but I'm going to say it because I've heard that this word actually really helped me claim and own that I have a pussy and that I have this power, pussy power, that is here to activate me and the world around me. And so when I went into that, I read this beautiful book about that. I started dancing in the movement practice that one of the other practitioners is offering here. And, Libby is one of my very dear friends and we've been writing together. And so I really utilized all of these tools to, heal. And it is a journey. It is a journey and it's a continuous journey. I'm always learning and growing and expanding. And through this process, I wanted to do IVF and freeze my eggs. So on that journey, I discovered many different tools to assist that process in being the most effective egg retrieval. And one of the things that I discovered was yoni steaming. And at first, I thought it was a hoax. I actually laughed and I thought, oh my God, what is this? This is such a silly thing. Like, how can that possibly do anything? And I remember hearing that it would really be able to cleanse any trauma that was inside of my uterus, scar tissue. It would just unlodge. It would open. It would expand my uterus and open it to dislodge any blood, any fluid, any scar tissue that was present in there and allow it to flow out of me. So in trusting the teachers that I was studying with around yoni steaming in particular, I am going to give a shout out to Steamy Chick. She is the teacher and of bringing this basically here to the West, because it is an ancient traditional practice that has been practiced for many, many, many generations. And she is really doing some beautiful work around bringing this here to the West. And I was studying from her, and I went to Home Depot one day to buy cedar wood because I wasn't able to find any yoni steaming boxes that were not made with toxic products or plywood or birch or something that had been touched with some kind of toxic product. And so I wanted it to be cedar. I wanted it to be all natural. And I went to Home Depot, bought some cedar wood. My partner at the time and I went and built a box out of cedar. And I remember coming home and I was so excited. Everybody was making fun of me, I remember. Everybody was laughing. They were just like, it was a funny process to build this and bring it home and then actually experience it. And I had set it up in my sacred space that I had at home. And I remember just coming into it with so much intention. And I really created a ceremony around it. And I lit candles all around. I mean, literally, it actually looked like this. There was flowers everywhere. I set up a little desk next to me, or a little table with my writing, and with a candle, with my incense and my favorite music. And I turned on the pot and put some beautiful herbs in there that I had found at the herb store. And I sat down on my first yoni steaming box that I made for the first time ever yoni steaming. And I was floored to a level that I'm having chills right now, even talking about it, because what happened for me was that, first of all, fluid was coming out of me and I could not believe it. And I was like, what is happening here? But I'm allowing it to be this, release. And okay, I'm going to dive into it. I'm going to go in, I'm just going to be with it. And then I started feeling like a deep emotional release, tears pouring down my eyes, like to the connection that I started feeling again with the center of my body that I had been so disconnected from. I won't go into too much detail, but I realized during that experience, in that moment, that I was living in life that was not in alignment with what I actually wanted to experience in this life. I wanted to live a life of full pleasure and just wow, like I'm able to access whatever it is that I want in this world, and I can create that. And I was living out of alignment with that. So that was another deep, deep journey that I was able to connect on while I was yoni steaming, of just releasing like all of that, and the mental thinking about my body parts and judging myself, and how long I spent judging my body. And I mean, I can just go on and on about my first experience, and the experience that I continue to have every time I sit on a yoni sauna. I'm able to let go of something that is, created that, whether it's actually from ancestral. I have a lot of ancestral trauma from my mother's side that is very, very traumatic. And I've been able to let go of that through my time on a steam. And yeah, that night I had the best sleep of my life. I woke up and I was completely just blown away. So I decided to create this beautiful product, and all of my friends wanted one. And yeah, it just really took off from there. And my intention with the yoni sauna is that every woman can experience this product and experience yoni steaming. If not this particular product, anything that you can do to, get that connection through this is my deepest heartfelt desire for women to experience. And yeah, just thank you so much. And I'm really excited to share this and thank you to Libby, and thank you to Nicole, and thank you to Bumpsuit, and thank you to everybody who has been a part of this beautiful journey of healing. And I just encourage and truly, truly, to any woman that is here with these wonderful, beautiful women that are sharing their gifts, to just allow the grief to move, allow the feelings, allow the pain, because what is birthed on the other side of pain is beyond anything that I think we will ever be able to understand or comprehend. We don't know. We have no idea what's on the other side. Okay, so this is the Yoni sauna. It is made out of 100% cedar from North America. And we make it in Washington State. And it comes with a beautiful top, a teardrop hole, which makes it comfortable for your sit bones here on the side. And what I like to do is open my legs and really allow the steam that will be coming from inside to flow through. And some other practices that I include is moving my hips, moving my body, and just, feeling what's comfortable, letting it flow in, opening myself more to receive the steam through the vaginal canal. And the steam and the herbs that are in the steam actually penetrate through the soft tissues and up through the vaginal canal. So your womb is getting the benefits of the herbs and the benefit of cedar itself, which is antimicrobial, antibacterial, a disinfectant. And you can see in here, there is a pot that we also make that sits right inside comfortably. And there's a plug here. There's a hole right here on the side. You fit the plug in. And on the side here, there is a hole to adjust the temperature to your comfort. So if you like it hot, if you like wearing a drape over yourself while you steam, or if you like to be naked, there's all different options to steam and control the temperature with what you wear. Also, the temperature knob right here. I've made 6 different blends from with the support of beautiful herbalist who is very, very, very knowledgeable about herbs. And so we're able to address some things that we women experience, such as painful period cramps, menopause, sleeping, fertility, and libido. This is actually my favorite blend, called Orgasmic. And then also the Restore, which is the one we're going to use right now. This is for after birth, after pregnancy loss. And this is also for after any kind of infection that you might have. So what the steam does is it travels up through the vaginal canal, and it can unlodge any scar tissue, any fluids, anything that's stuck, any old blood that's stuck inside that actually create cramps and create pain. So what yoni steaming does is it opens it up and lets it come out, along with the trauma that is in there as well. So we'll put a little herbs inside of the pot here that has water. I've already poured water in here before we came on. And I usually put about 3 tablespoons. And I turn on the sauna from the side, and I let it heat up and steam up, and it smells divine. I mean, this smells like you're in a sauna. So sometimes what I like to do before my steam, while I'm like setting up, is writing, setting my intention, really getting clear about what I want to release, or just letting whatever wants to come out, come out. And sometimes the steam will come up, and I'll wait for it to get hot, and I like to steam my face. And it's a really nice experience just to connect with the sauna and connect with the experience. And then when it's hot and steamy and comfortable enough, I would, test it with your hand and come on here and kind of test it and see if it's too hot. If it's too hot, turn it down and wait. I actually do like to steam without fabric on me because I kind of just like, but everybody has their own preference. I kind of just really like to go in and and just like be with myself and put on some beautiful music, my favorite incense, turn off my phone, just really sit and be. And a couple things that I really want to point out is it's important not to steam while you're on your period. Whenever there's any fresh blood, if you're pregnant, do not steam. If you are trying to get pregnant, I would not steam after you've had intercourse if you are ovulating. That is. And then also if you have any active infections, not to steam as well. And if you do have active infection, it does help with bladder infections. It helps with yeast infections. It helps with PID. It can treat a lot of these issues, PCOS, cysts. So I would, use your discretion if you feel that you need to speak with a professional vaginal steam herbalist. I would highly recommend you do that. And you can find that on Steamy Chick's website, steamychick.com. And just, enjoy and really like trust yourself and let this be a beautiful experience that you have with yourself. And just let it all go, let it all just come out. Tears, let it all go. So you can be rebirthed and reborn into who you are meant to be, which is a divine, loving light.
Welcome back. I'm also going to share with you a little technique that helps me to rebalance my chakra and my energy every morning when I wake up. We're going to use our own body as a music chamber, and we're going to use the sound of Aum to rebalance the body. We're going to start with the letter A, which activates all the lower chakras. We're going to do this for 3 times. Then we're going to move to the letter U that activates your heart center. And then finally, we're going to do the sound of for 3 times that activates our throat chakra as well as our third eye and our crown chakra. And we're going to repeat 3 times A, 3 times U, 3 times and then we're going to put it all together. What you should really seek into this exercise, it doesn't need to sound pretty, it doesn't need to sound like fantastic, but you need to feel the vibration. You need to feel the vibration moving from the bottom up. So let's get started. We're going to take a deep breath in before each letter, and then we're going to do the sound.
Thank you so much for joining us for this online retreat into the heart. On behalf of Nicole and the entire team at Bumpsuit and all of the practitioners present today, we want to thank you so much for your willingness to be open to this work. And thank you so much for joining us. We send you so much light and love and healing. And please stay in touch with us. We would love to support you on your journey.